here, which again this is
Yeah.
part of it, because you
Yeah.
subdivided 3
Yeah.
into 3A and 3B.
I
Well,
subdivided
actually,
4.
4. You're right. You subdivided 4 into basically 3A, and then 3 basically stayed the same.
Right. And then I got that.
Right. And then, but see, still lot number 1's over here, so now we have a total of like 5 lots. Well, this got merged together essentially, I believe. Look at the tax number. So I don't know why that went to the county. It technically shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, it was.
So like you said, everything got all balled up when
Yeah.
Bill walked and,
Yeah. If you look at your zoning ordinance, what triggers a referral to the county under 239M is special use permits, use variances, and/or like zoning amendments. That
Yeah.
they all have to go to the county under 239M. You know, subdivisions generally don't. But then the next question is this a minor or major subdivision?
You were
County
told by
road.
someone on the
That's
county
the next
planning
question.
board that it needed to go to the county because it's on a county road. Anything that's on a county or state highway.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't have gone to them.
Mine never did.
the reason he went down there is because he said he wanted everything going through his board now, the new guy down there.
Yeah, that's not right, so.
No.
It's not an item that triggers
No.
the 239.
Which is why we need to get them here to talk to the board members.
Yes.
Yeah, because for the county, all I gotta do is fill out the permit and then hand it in with a $50 check,
Yeah.
which is probably 75 now.
Well, yeah, COVID.
I don't agree with this one either.
What
they said.
What do I have zoning laws in here?
I haven't looked at it, I literally just got it when I came in.
I know the guy needs more information, but I don't agree with the county said.
Oh, the white rainbow?
Yeah, sorry. I think they're wrong.
Yeah, I was saying that, well, Pete's not here, eh? So I had to talk to him. Peter!
So you got some from the county too?
Mm-hmm.
How are you and him? Do I have any batteries for you? In your office? That's a good question.
All right, how far up the North Shore Road is that? Is that by the
It's,
Babbies?
know where the Connors Road is? Heading towards,
Yeah,
it's probably a quarter of a mile after the Connors Road.
active, okay. Well, it's just on the Peru line then, or just before it probably?
Before the Blue Line, yeah, quite a bit.
Says he did.
Always.
Spent most of the day in Ellenburg doing a couple of car keys. The new push to start keys.
Oh, yeah? No, that's a bit fun.
GM's not too bad, but the rest of them, the GM's expensive, $100 just to get the code.
That fob thing, you mean? The guy came to my house wanted me to move his truck the other day. I couldn't even get the damn thing to move because I didn't know how to do it. It's like, wait.
So mine stays in my pocket, so if I leave it running, I go in the store, it beeps twice to tell you, hey, the keys are in there. Well, no kidding, it's running, you know? Most of them, once I hook up to the car and then I hit a couple buttons, bang, it's programmed in, ready to go. Turning it up or down?
Down, it's at 75, Tom was behind with the seatbelt on.
Well, how would you like the heat?
That's all right.
He always comes in with those nice maps, they're all printed out.
Anybody can get online and print us.
Yeah, if you know how to do it.
Just have to know what the website is. Actually, I think if you get on the county website, county planning website, you can put that.
You want the map?
No, I'm saying you got the nice map, you come in here with that.
Why is it not?
Anybody wants to look at it, I pass it
Which
around.
one's that one?
That basically shows
Curry.
the area which of where it's
Oh, the Curry one?
the meeting starts. if you want.
Well, if I can get this little recorder to record.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Christian,
Here.
Mr. Hager,
Here.
Ms. Maddox, Mr. Russell.
Here.
Mr. McCaslin.
Here. And we'll go to approve the minutes of January 3rd, 2023 regular meeting.
Move that we approve the minutes of the January 3rd minutes. Me.
Second.
I'll second.
Which one of you was first?
He was.
Roll call on that?
Yes.
Mr. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. McCaslin.
Yes. Now we'll move on to Allison B. Curry application for minor subdivision of lot at 222 Norrisville Road to include the annexation of 25 feet from adjoining property.
That's where it gets a little confusing. So what adjoining property is it getting 25 feet from and where, which
It's
side?
getting 25 feet from the original Allison Curry lot.
But that's what you're subdividing, right? Subdividing the Allison? Up here, look at, I couldn't really tell from your map.
Oh, I don't. What is,
So right now, this is the lot right here. That's the current existing lot, correct? This piece that goes from there to there.
yes, sir.
So you're taking a lot off of that, so you're
Well-
proposing to take a lot off of this end.
Well, I'm taking this right here, which is lot 3A.
Okay,
I'm adding 25 feet from the original lot onto 3A and making
okay,
this a
so
lot, sir.
3A is a lot that was never subdivided.
It was merged back to this property, sir.
Okay, so it was a lot at one time, but it was merged.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so.
And
That's,
I believe we have the original map here too, sir.
Yeah, there was a map. I had the same question, I think, that you did, Pete. So actually, got a couple of copies of some additional maps. I've got the map that Rick attached to his application. But this is, so originally, this was a part of the Brennan subdivision, as Rick and I talked about. And originally, the Brennan subdivision, I believe, had 4 lots, okay? But I've got a copy of that Brennan subdivision map. It's dated 2017, this map was filed in 19. But it shows 1, 2, 3, 4 separate parcels, okay? And what appears to have happened was, because lot 1, I think, is still basically the same. 2 was originally 2.5 acres, but now 2 is 1.6. So I think that got added to maybe the house
It
lot.
got merged onto Allison's.
But I don't know if that ever got subdivided to do that.
Well, you don't have to do a subdivision to merge a lot.
Okay.
No.
And then it looks like, yeah, part of 2 went to lot 3. Part of 4 went to lot 3.
They were merged, right?
So the way it exists now is like this. This is
Right, I have
on, this is
that.
on tax map.
I've got the tax map.
So you see lot 1, which was the original lot. Lot 2,
It's now 3.1.
yeah, 24-331. That was originally 2.5 acres, now it's 1.6. 24.332, which is part of 2, 3, and part of 4, now is 4 acres. And then 24.333, which is again part of lot 4, is 1.24 acres. So I think, the thing I'm a little, I guess, so I think what you're doing, and it's hard to tell in this tax map, I don't think 2 is changing. What Rick is doing,
Essentially, he's taking lot 3.32.
he's
And
basically subdividing 24.332, right?
Right. It
And-
really has
and-
nothing to do with 25 foot from the other lot 3A, because that lot 3A no longer exists.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
The question I have though is this a minor or major subdivision?
Well, that's right, because I think by doing this, you then have 5 lots. Because right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? If you subdivide it now, then you have 5.
I'm already seeing 5 already though. I'm
Yeah, you
seeing
may already have 5, correct.
3, 2, 3, 3, 3, you know. So you got anything that ends with anything that has a 24 point something must have
Yeah.
come from the original parcel.
Yeah, I don't know if 24.32 does, but I can't tell if it does or it doesn't. 24.333, 24.332, 24.331, and 24.31 all do.
And then there's over to the right of that is 24.1, correct?
Yeah, I don't have that, that might be, but I don't know where if that comes out of the same chain, but just from looking at the tax map I have, right now there exists 4. And if we subdivide it, now we have 5.
I'm coming up with, after the subdivision, 4 lots.
The problem is that
There's 4 right now from this original subdivision. Let me
That's
just,
including merging
so
that one?
let me just show you, Rick. And that's not even, so right now, here's what the tax map shows. You see the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, but this was part of 4 as well at one point, okay? The original subdivision was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
And what happened was, 2 kind of got carved up a little bit to
They
go
got
with
merged
8.
to here.
Part of this goes to here,
So
okay?
those don't count as,
Well, no, right, but you still have part of 4,
Yep.
you still have 3, you still have 2, and you still have 1. But now, so you have this configuration, which right now you have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 parcels, okay? If you subdivide that in 2, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
and that's what changes it into a major subdivision.
Correct.
so,
I mean, I think it's doable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with it, but I think it becomes a major as compared to a minor.
so what is your criteria for a major?
You have to deal with the roads.
So the major, well, I
I
mean,
think you have to have a survey number 1.
Well, it's all surveyed already.
right.
Well, but the new survey has to show like adding the 25 feet, and it has to show this current configuration.
Right.
So basically,
I
you have
mean,
to have a
you're
surveyor.
almost there, but this last subdivision.
Exactly.
But
Right,
your
no,
last
right,
subdivision.
right. This, what you're doing today creates the 5th lot. That's the issue.
Okay,
Because again, and as Sandy mentioned, it's since 72, and but these lots were created like, think in 2017, 2019. Yeah, so that's not that long ago. So it's clearly, I think at this point it becomes a major because you got 5 lots by doing what we're doing. So I think we just need to have this survey to show what the current configuration is gonna be.
It was just surveyed in the fall.
The lot,
He's talking about with the division
particular
on it.
configuration, or?
Excuse me?
He's talking about with the new subdivision you
Well,
want.
I can't have the new subdivision put down until it's approved here.
Right, but you have to have you have to
You have a
provide
survey
us
for
with a
us to
survey
approve it.
map so that we can approve the survey so that you can subdivide. It's like a cat.
Well, again, why do I go out and spend $1,200 unless you're going to approve it? You can make it contingent on that survey map.
Well, that's just the way the law is written.
I realize how the laws are
Now,
written, but
now,
there's also contingencies that you can use.
so the
put in place.
contingency is that the Board of Appeals may for good cause relegate a technically major subdivision to a minor subdivision status.
If that's up to the Board of Appeals,
Right,
not us.
that's what I'm reading there.
Right, no, you're right.
So
Sorry.
you could go to the Board of Appeals and say, hey, can I get this, if you can show and prove to them that it's really it's really just you're going back to what it used to be.
Right.
Somebody else must have done some divvying up to create these extra lots, not you. And
Yeah, Mr.
merging your lot kind of shot you in the foot.
Merging my lot, well,
If you were the one that merged it, because,
I merged the lots,
yeah,
but with the understanding, and I have it on tape, that as long as I kept it at 30,000 square feet, it would be not a problem putting it back as a lot.
Well, I don't think, the configuration, I don't think where it's gonna be, is an issue. It's an issue because it becomes a major, that's the issue. I mean, what you wanna do, I think is technically fine.
Right.
It's just that the board needs to see a survey map so they can approve it, that's the issue.
Because it has to be stamped and.
Right, so the configuration, I don't think is an issue.
Right.
What you wanna do, I don't primarily think is an issue. It's just that it now becomes a major because of the 5 lots.
Right.
and it's just
That's the problem.
And I guess I'm asking the board if they would make it contingent on getting that map. Because you and I both know, walking into Dean or Jay Mosier's office right now and saying, hey, can I get a map? I'm gonna get that map 3 months from now. And give me from the date of contingency 6 months to bring that map to
Yeah,
you.
but that just means we can't give you a building permit or anything until we get the map
Right.
either.
Right,
So I mean, it doesn't
right.
really, it
And
doesn't
I'm
really
not
help
looking for a
you.
building permit
Now,
right now.
it does say that the monuments and all those things don't just have to be put before you can get a building permit.
Right.
So you,
I mean, I have the pins in. The only pin that is not there is the 25. All the other pins are there. The original pins for the lots are still there because I asked Dean to leave them there. Because obviously it's already paid for, you know where you're going 25 feet from that last pin. But to have Dean sit down
Start all over again.
and draw it out, it's gonna cost me $1,200. So I'm asking the board, give me a contingency of 6 months to come up with that map. I'm not saying approve it. Give me the contingency and the understanding, once I get that map in your hands, you will approve it. And I'm not looking to do any building on it at all, or sell it.
Yeah, I mean, conceptually, again, I don't think there's really an issue with what you want to do. It's just the
Right.
number of lots. That's what triggers the additional
Right.
review for us. The board you can talk about it and say, does anybody have an issue with what Rick wants to do, or what Mr. Curry or Allison Curry is proposing? I don't think there really is much there. I mean, we still, depending what we want to do, we still have to do seeker regardless. And we need to also just discuss a little bit what the county planning board said, which quite frankly, really doesn't matter.
The county has no jurisdiction here.
Well, yeah,
they do.
I don't know why this got sent to the county. If you look at,
it's in a county planning zone.
but a subdivision doesn't trigger
No.
Clinton County
The
planning board
driveway
review.
does.
If you look at the cover sheet of that, it says area variance, and I don't. Rick says they haven't applied for an area
I
variance.
haven't
so-
applied for anything, I didn't.
Howard, there's no
know.
area variance pending in front of the zoning board for the Currys, is there?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Right, so I don't know how this got to them and or why they think there's an area variance.
It says referral from the town of Schuyler Falls Zoning Board of Appeals.
Correct, and I don't know why that, if there's nothing pending there, why would it go to them? Now, I understand, sounds like, whether it was Bill or whoever sent this to the county, I mean, yeah, I acknowledge it's on Norrisville Road, but if you look under 239M, there's things that triggered that. You know, basically, special use permits, use variances. Area variances generally doesn't even require it, depending, but depends on the nature of the area variance. And or zoning amendments, all have to go to the county for their comments. This is just a simple subdivision. There's nothing that triggers this to be reviewed by the county planning board. I understand it's on Northville Road, that's fine, but there's nothing under 239M that triggers this to go to the county.
All the county's worried about is site distance.
Well, they're concerned about a lot of different things. What 239M requires, or at least wants the county planning board to look at, is whether or not a particular project has some type of county-wide impact.
Right.
You know, and some uses might, some uses might not. But it really, what triggers it is some type of really change in use.
Right.
Not necessarily just a subdivision of land.
And I
So
guess,
would anybody have a problem with doing what he's asking to approve it with a contingent that,
Well, and again, whether, I mean, again, even if we, whether we can, and again, I'm not trying to give, you know, Mr. Curry a hard time, but I mean, whether we can approve something really without even seeing the actual map. I think conceptually we can tell if any, unless somebody else here has a problem, that we don't have an issue with what he's proposing, because I think it's fine, it's just a number of lots.
right,
Yeah, I mean, but, I mean, the approval with some kind of contingency doesn't really get you anything, quite honestly.
well, it gives me the feeling that, yes, I'm gonna go spend the $1,200.
so if he comes back
And
and
the town's fine with
shoot
it.
it down?
Right.
And that's why I was a little shuffled, because when we were on the planning board in Peru, we always did this step first and then had it in 3 copies, signed, stamped, sealed, and
Yeah,
delivered.
but we usually had a map first. I mean,
Excuse me,
we usually had a map.
I've never have.
No, but I mean, in Peru, on the planning board, we'd have maps at least. I mean,
Right, and we handed them in after it was approved. You had,
well, you had the surveyor produce them to be signed after they were approved, but we had a map to review beforehand.
yeah, you had
I
a
mean-
sketch drawing. You had a sketch drawing that we
Right.
submitted.
Well, and again, if this was a minor, a sketch would be fine, because this becomes a major is what
Yeah.
triggers the survey.
Right.
That's the difference. And you're right, I think in Peru originally, now in Peru, even
Well, now in
minors,
Peru, you have to,
yeah, even minors require surveys. Oh, yeah. Even minor subdivisions require surveys, but, I think, right, way back
yeah,
when you and I were on the planning board there, I think
Right.
sketches were allowed for minors. But then, but what triggers, again, the difference between this, Rick, is now it's a major because of the number of lots.
yeah. Well, you know, my thing is, I've been trying to come before the board since October, and he can attest to this. And it's just I've been sidelined by the old coding officer, because he didn't want to deal with it, because he was stepping out. And then they had to find their replacement, and bang, 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 this happened, that happened, the other thing happened, and finally I'm here tonight. And
If you got a verbal, is that,
if I have a verbal and it's in your minutes, and I get a copy of your minutes, I'm happy, I'll have it done.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd still have to come back to
Yep.
us with a map.
That's not a problem.
We would still have to do seeker, because we need the map to really do seeker.
Right.
But if we give you a verbal saying, unless, you know, somebody else here has an issue with it or what's being proposed, again, what triggers it is just the number of lots. And it's because the number of lots have been created
Yeah.
since 17, 16, whenever,
1972.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since, I mean,
For now.
these lots were just
Yeah,
created
these are all
16 or
fairly
17 by
I
Mr.
remember these lots.
By Mr. Brennan, yeah. So, I mean,
No offense, I can see your point. I'd be damned if I paid $1,200 and have
Right.
it come in here and say, no, you can't do this.
Well, I paid
We're,
$900 for
we're
it.
supposed to be
look
here
at
to
right
help
here,
the public,
right?
not hinder it.
no, I agree. I mean, so listen, I understand what you're saying, Rick. But I just, you know, we just need to let
Oh,
you.
I understand there's rules, regulations, but I'm asking, since I've been waiting since October, maybe meet me halfway, because spring is starting now.
That's understandable.
Spring work is starting well, who knows? You know,
Yeah.
So I mean, as business is gonna pick up.
So technically, I mean, not that we have like the step of a sketch, well, I guess, is there a sketch that could?
Well, there's this sketch
there's an
here.
attached sketch. to it.
No, but I'm
There's-
just trying to think under, let me look at a major,
And
whether
then
there's
they,
a,
well, it says that, the requirements are, the plats, shall be submitted in triplicate, like this type of a thing here. Survey, it just says all survey monuments shall be indicated, and there shall be at least one permanent monument on each corner of the subdivision, so I mean,
Right now you have that,
yeah,
So-
the only some monuments that would have to be set are the
So-
ones.
the 25s, right?
I'm just looking, Peter, down under just the requirements for major subdivisions and just talking about, the steps. It looks like, before we could give final approval, we could actually give him what's called like preliminary approval based on what he's produced, but we can't give him final approval until the maps are produced, then we have to schedule like a public hearing on that.
Right.
Because it's a major.
Got it.
So, just kind of reviewing the major subdivision requirements, I think what the board could do, if they're comfortable with what's being proposed, is that we could give Mr. Curry preliminary approval. And then it would be obviously subject, Rick, to you producing the map,
Right.
coming back in front of us, and at that time, we'd schedule a public hearing, do seeker, review the maps, and then at that point, we'll be able to give you final approval.
Okay. Now,
Does that make sense?
yes, sir. So as far as seeker, I would have Dean do that, all the paperwork.
There's been a seeker, well, actually, that's another thing, Sandy, there is a seeker short form attached, but I don't have all the pages to it, at least in mine.
Or,
Page 1.
I have page 1 of
Page
4,
three.
and I have page 3 of 4.
Yeah.
That happened last time too.
And page 3 of 4 was the start of, so what, you
So
you
whoever
say,
made the copies didn't make
Right.
double
so you
sided.
Right.
did, you did fill out your part of the secret.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
So all we got's ours left to do, so we can do
Yeah,
that when he comes back.
we can do that at final approval, because
So-
technically that should be at a public hearing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll appear once I had the map in front of the board again.
Yep, get the map to the town, to
Would
Sandy.
that be for a public hearing that night, or would that be for you to review the map and then schedule a public hearing?
I think we can do the map and the public hearing same night.
We probably can do it at that time.
So at that point, Howard would need to place one of the signs on the lot saying that there's going to be a public hearing.
Right, so Rick, you
Major
get the maps,
subdivision.
you get the maps to Howard, okay?
Okay.
That's your code then.
And he's a code guy now.
Okay, yep.
And then, Howard just need to make sure everything is together, we have the maps, everything, get the maps to all of us, we schedule a public hearing. And then that night, I think we should be able to probably
Schedule
review it,
the same
approve it.
night?
Unless there was some issue that we saw with the map, which at this point, I would not anticipate.
Okay, I
What
just-
doing, I doubt it.
I just need to know how I'm putting the
Writing
ad in
it
the
down.
paper.
I think
That's
once-
my issue. I have to.
Once we get the maps, Howard can relay that to you, Sandy, then we can put in for a public hearing
Okay.
when all that stuff is submitted to Howard.
Okay, so I will give Dean a call by Friday, see when I can get the map. If I may, I'll call you then.
Yep.
Let you know how I'm progressing on it, and then hopefully it'll all come together by this summer and. we'll
Yeah,
be good.
just get us to us as soon as possible, because obviously we've got to do a few things. We got to put it in the paper, advertise the paper.
Right.
Howard's
Yeah,
got to
you-
post the property, so we do need it a
You
little
need
bit in
14
advance of our
14
meeting.
days.
14 days, 2
Yes.
weeks prior to the meeting
Yes,
night.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Which is gonna
And so
be-
for the major subdivision requirements, it's in the book, Howard could probably tell you exactly what those requirements are for the map.
May I get a copy of that? That way you
Or
can,
Dean's
or I
not
can
enough
have Dean just tell
Dean's
him
not
it's got
enough of it,
the
he should know.
requirements of Schuyler Falls.
Yeah, Dean's aware.
Okay.
I believe we have a major subdivision form out by the door already.
That
Yes,
probably has this on.
All right.
our next meeting will
It just
be
spells
what?
out the setbacks,
Six or
that
seven.
they're supposed to show the setbacks on.
Next
They are
month?
on
But
this
he's probably not gonna,
You know,
he's
but
not
then
gonna have
this
it.
is-
Yep, so.
map that
Yeah, but Rick
you
won't have it for next
drawn a
month
little
probably,
extra
so
line.
it'll
All
probably,
right,
it'll
well, I
probably
have
won't be
I
till
copy them right at home.
April, May probably,
Right.
so.
It'll be April 10th if we did.
Okay.
Okay, I
So first
appreciate it.
Tuesday of the month.
Excuse me.
First Tuesday of the
Sorry,
month.
April
First
So,
Tuesday?
So
first
Dean-
Tuesday of the
April
month.
3rd,
Yeah.
if he's that quick.
Depends how quick Dean gets back to you.
Well, it depends on sugaring season now with Dean.
Yeah.
Quicker than he is me. I called him 7 months ago, I haven't heard from him yet.
Well, if he wants to make money or not. Oh, he probably makes good money with that too,
Oh,
though.
he makes out well. He's expanded quite a bit.
I was gonna say,
I see 'em all
he has
over.
guys who do the grunt work for him.
Yeah.
My son's a surveyor, trust me.
So-
They do a lot of the grunt work.
So, okay, so I think basically if the board feels comfortable with what we're talking about, we can have a motion made that we at least give Mr. Curry preliminary approval for the subdivision.
Thank you, sir.
And then once we get the map, then we can schedule a public hearing, and that time give final approval and do seeker at that time.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yeah.
And then, we're not going to worry about Clinton County because it
No.
went there.
I don't think, I don't know why I got sent.
Okay. All right, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
We
Yes,
haven't-
sir.
We haven't made,
You gotta
we need to make a motion first to do
You
that.
aren't free
You
yet.
don't wanna leave just.
Listen, you can, but we need to make a motion first. Howard?
One thing I may suggest though is when he puts in his plot plan for laying everything out, is where the driveway's gonna be.
Yes, sir.
Because that's, I think that's the red mark.
Okay, who's gonna do the motion?
I'll make a motion to give preliminary approval to the subdivision of the parcel 2.244.1-24.332 at 222 Norrisville Road, pending the receipt of a survey for scheduling a public hearing and approval at the next,
Whenever you produce it. I mean,
Okay.
odds are it's not gonna be at the March meeting, Rick, I don't
Right,
think.
no.
So maybe April, maybe May, but as soon as you get it, just give it to, get it to Howard 14 days so we can advertise it, and he can post it, and then we can go from there.
Okay,
Now you're set.
I appreciate it, thank you for your time.
Any new business?
You need a roll call on that.
Oh, yeah, roll
We
call.
need a second.
You need a
We don't
second.
I'll
Nothing,
second.
you know.
I'll second.
Okay. Been a long week and it's only Tuesday.
Mr. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. Hager,
yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. McCaslin.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had that same question, Peter, when you were talking about it, 'cause that's why I actually called over to the county clerk's office to get some copies of some of these maps. I'm trying to figure out how many lots there. Because just looking at the tax map, you can tell there are a number of lots created,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell how many until I put it all together, so.
And it looks like there's even one over, well, it looks to me like currently there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Yeah, I can't.
from that original strip.
Yeah,
along
I can't tell how many come out of the same chain of title, but you might be right.
And I,
But clearly with this one being created, there's at least 5.
I do believe that the last time, I could be wrong, but if I remember right, the last time the Brennans were in, they had to do a major subdivision because they had enough.
They
Already
created
taken
how
out.
many lots?
Right.
Yeah, so,
Well, the fact that he merged his 2 lots was kind of, he probably saved him on taxes for a little
Right.
while. But, because if he could have just given 25 feet to the smaller
Yeah.
lot and solved his whole problem, you know.
yeah, but they've been definitely reconfigured just
Yeah.
by looking at the tax map as compared to, what's the old survey map, so, but that's fine. I mean, I don't think there's really a big issue
No.
with what they're doing.
Okay, now getting back, new business.
I have some new business that just came up within the last couple of days. One of them I just saw tonight. First one is the county, 2 of the people from the county planning board have offered to come speak to the board and discuss with them things like what does and doesn't need to go to the county, and also talk to you a little bit about zoning. They've done it in a couple of the other towns around. So if everyone is amenable to that, I can set something up for that, and also find out if maybe that might apply towards your training hours that you need to put in.
Definitely. That'd be cool.
So I'll see what I can set up with them, see what nights they are available, and see what we can do about getting as many members here as possible. And the other thing, I just saw this tonight. There we go. Okay, I just have it here. Okay, so it appears that there will be a sexual harassment training.
I've already
And-
taken mine.
You've already got one?
Yeah.
Can you show a certification of it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's evidently, since they've given this to me, nobody has said anything to me about it, but I'm assuming this means that even though you are volunteers, you are still required to take the sexual harassment training. So I'll give you this, they are going to have some training here at the town hall, or you
Yeah, I take it
can,
to prison all the time.
you can do
Bring your
it
paper down.
They don't give you
remotely.
papers.
You can get it from, they'll write
You
you.
don't have to- you don't
Yeah,
have to
they
do it.
must
You
have.
don't-
Because ours is done through the county, so
you know what?
they
I
must
guess
have
I'll try to get from the prison because I really don't want to do this.
Then
Plus I
again-
can't, I'm not taking time off of work.
Well, you can do it remotely,
Oh,
so,
you have to answer all the questions properly though.
yes.
It's like about 45 minutes.
moving on. Old
That's all I
business.
had.
So I see we got some referral documents from the county. I think that's the
Yep,
first time I've ever seen.
Yeah.
he's getting right into it, like I said.
That's good.
Well,
but see,
no,
the-
I got those.
So,
Oh,
But for Yuri,
I
I mean,
made sure I
that is
got
the
'em.
right, see, but that is the right referral.
oh yeah.
Because it's a special use permit or whatever, or
Yeah.
use variance, whatever, that is a thing that is properly referred to the county planner.
And well written out for all the points that they had to make. And
Do we have to follow this?
well, this one I think is legit, and we have to follow it. I mean, what they're saying is that they're saying a lot of points too that he hasn't done hasn't done things in the right, maybe
Well,
hasn't
yes, I
taken the
agree.
proper steps.
but ultimately, anything the county does, we can override it with a majority.
Well, I
plus
agree with
one.
90% of it. There's some things I don't agree with, that's for sure. Like the proximity to neighbors. The guy's in the middle of a field and right in a neighbor within a quarter mile of him.
But,
Or half of
back over there.
Yeah,
There's-
yeah, back of him, but
there's
still,
nothing.
everything's gonna be in the front. She's still,
But some of the stuff about the farm brewery, I think he was putting a little bit jumping the gun, putting the cart before the horse. He has not begun to farm
The
yet.
farm part.
growing
Yeah.
part.
The farm part is,
Of the hops.
like I told him, it's like start growing something, start farming, then you'll, once you get into that, then you qualify, but.
Yeah, until then, you
Yeah.
really don't.
Can you sell that stuff if you
He
sell it?
claims he has a homeward business right now, and he doesn't.
Well,
What?
basically, what they,
The yoga.
That's
It's
not
supposed to
really,
be attached to the house.
it's not farming either. though.
No,
No, it's-
I mean, it's a different,
As far as the home
it's
business.
it's a different thing, right?
so. But yeah, so I think, of course he would have to come back. I think we had him withdraw his application and there's no decision to be made, so,
Yeah.
until he satisfies a
The
lot of
county
these
needs
points and
and
comes
then-
back to us again, there's nothing really to talk about.
Okay, and
Correct.
what I have done, and I had spoken to people here because Howard was not available, but Howard, from now on, when you receive a referral, paperwork from the county on something that's been submitted to them, if you could get a copy to me that I can then present to the board members, preferably before our meeting,
Okay.
that would be great. That way I also have a copy to put in our file. Never got them before.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen one before.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
We'll make it.
Second? Second.
Where's the remote thing on this?
It's on the bottom.
Send an email.
See where it's highlighted? I'm assuming they're all highlighted. I don't know. They may make copies for me.
You see the send Kevin an email.
No, if you want to go next year,
Not
then the
email.
city, I should know now, so when I do my budget, I can add it in.
You want?
Next year I will, yeah, I didn't put anything in the budget for it this year because
Just take a look and
COVID
see
killed
what
it for a
that's
couple of
like.
years, so.
I'll go for the other.
The 4-day,
That's the in-person one then.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Can do
Sunday.
I think if you submit your email address, you
They
can
bought us
send
right from
us
here,
a link to
usually.
something.
Yeah,
That's
good
a
program.
Like a Zoom.
Yeah, I've been going 4 years since I've been on
You
here.
guys probably
To
can't.
where, New York City?
I do something annually.
It's
Oh,
Sunday,
they,
it's Sunday
I'm not sure
through
if I'm
Wednesday, and
documentation
there is
or
no
not.
bus.
You might have to just.
oh, they changed it now, oh, they have enough people must be.
You gotta drive.
On the New York City?
Train or whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the train will bring
Don't
it into
wait for them to
the
take the
subway.
direction.
You go to Poughkeepsie and take the train in or
That's
wherever,
all-
or
Yeah.
even
That's
Troy, I
all we
think.
do.
you take
Taking a
train.
bus right out of Plattsburgh is shorter than the train and less money.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I rode the train one year just to see what it was like. It's long. But it's, I mean, it's different, huh?
So we used to take the train down, get right off in Grand Central.
Yeah.
Yep,
No parking.
No parking,
in the car.
it's simple, you can walk to a lot of things.
yeah, I mean, Grand Central.
The
is only
food down
5
there
blocks
is
from the
all out of
hotel.
this world.
Yeah, you can walk that easy.
7 minutes,
All right.
7 minutes, go out 5 blocks?
that's what it
Oh,
says.
you got long legs. I can't do that.
That done. Finished.